Hi everyone, Tiago here from Tea Encounter, and we just came back from Yunnan. We were doing our 2025 collection. We're very excited this year. We found some really cool teas. Very happy. I always try to find the teas that are not I have never encountered in the Western market, you know. But you know what? Like I feel like after so many years of bringing new teas that are special but have never been on offer, it's becoming a bit more difficult, you know, to find them because there's limits in the amount of villages around in Yiwu and in Yunnan, you know. Especially for us, we source a lot of teas from Yiwu and the 6 famous tea mountains, and of course these areas are very famous. So anyway, I think that we managed to bring one tea that I've never seen on offer. Gushu tea. I won't say which tea it is for the time being. Also because I want to try it. So we did try it, the matcha, but we haven't tried any of the teas after being pressed. They're currently being pressed. They'll be pressed tomorrow actually. And so yeah, we need to test them, make sure everything is okay. But with these kind of specialties, I think, you know, it's almost certain that, yeah, they'll be great. So, okay, I wanted to do a video, so let's leave this aside. I'm very excited about 2025 teas. I hope we have them available like in a month time or so. So today is the 8th or the 7th of April. So we're still trying some teas. It's not so much to press them this year. We might still do it. There's one tea that I'm hesitating a lot, but it's more like for next year, you know. So if we find some samples and some teas that perhaps we didn't source, but that they are special, maybe we'll consider and sourcing them next year. So yeah, so that's it for the 2025 collection. I'll talk later about it, you know, when we receive the teas. But I wanted to actually talk about something different, and I wanted to talk about the principles that guide Tea Encounter, you know. And what I mean by that is like which principles help us to choose the teas that we offer on our website, and the way we select them. And I think that we have some, well, first of all, I do think that as time goes by and I look at other vendors, you know, I feel like we're all kind of reflecting a bit of our personality and who we are and the kind of teas that we like to drink, of course, you know. And especially with older websites, I find that each one of them is kind of unique in their philosophy, in their principles, and the kind of teas they're offering, you know. And I wanted to talk a bit about us as a tea company and the principles that help us, that guide us to choose teas. And I think we're kind of unique, or very unique actually, in the sense that we use principles that I find that they're really old school principles, you know. You would find them in blogs, you know, 15-20 years ago, and that's kind of stuck with me, these kind of principles. Namely, I'll just go straight to the point. Namely, we choose teas that perform well in the cup. Okay, so if we have like a good tea experience with the tea, we're not so worried whether it has like some characteristics that the market will find interesting or not, you know. So that means that sometimes we'll source a Laos Gushu, you know, even though Chinese tea has more prestige than Laos teas, you know. That's the reality. But if you find them good, no problem, we'll just source them, you know. Or we might source some really premium tea coming from a very premium area, but maybe we'll source younger trees, you know, like our Shawangshu, for instance. We've been sourcing it for a few years now. And I find that tea, among other teas, you know, that we offer, although it maybe the market will say, okay, no, what's important is that the tea comes from an ancient tree. But because the experience we're having when we're drinking the tea is so good, we're not so worried whether it has a certain requirement like coming from an ancient tree. Personally, I actually feel like requirements like altitude are a bit more important than the age of the tree. I tend to have a bias towards teas that have a negative bias towards teas that maybe come from very low altitude. I do think that altitude matters in tea, in good tea. If you want to have good tea, you need to have altitude. Okay. Now this when it comes to puerh tea. Okay. Now, so the fact that we have this core principle that the experience in the cup is what matters. I feel like it kind of frees us to source teas that other companies wouldn't, because other companies are very worried about, some of the other companies, not all of them surely, but will be very worried about the requirements of the tea. Does it have a certain characteristic? Does it come from a famous village? We don't care if it comes from a famous village. Now, we source a lot of teas coming from famous villages, but that's because, they're famous for a reason. They're really, really good. But for instance, we source like, the 2015 Duo coming from Nanwo. Nanwo is somewhat famous. It's not like it's not a famous area, but doesn't have the same prestige as Iwu teas. But the tea is lovely. We sourced it from the Maliandao tea market in Beijing. It's a lovely tea. We also sourced also from 2015 the 2015 Xinletang coming from Lincang, and another tea from Lincang is the 2020 Mengxiang Genkan. Okay. Now I'm saying this because I'm not so much into Lincang teas. I have some negative prejudices towards them, just because I don't think that they age so well. I just feel like they're really nice when they're fresh, but it's not a tea that I think will age really, really well. Now, having said that, we just sourced two teas recently, like these ones that I just mentioned, the Xinletang, 2015 Xinletang, and the 2020 Mengxiang Genkan, that are from Lincang. So I guess the message I want to convey with this video is that you should really just ignore everything that vendors say, including us, okay? And you should really just focus on the experience in the cup, okay? Now, we also offer a lot of high quality gushu tea, and we're going to offer some really good ones this year. Don't remember exactly how many we have, but I surely like at least 7, we're going to offer. So yeah, some gushu teas can be really, really special, and there is a reason why people prefer gushu teas, But again, I just feel like I wanted to explain how we choose teas and the philosophy and principles behind Tea Encounter. And yeah, that's it. We just focus on the tea experience, And I would recommend you that you, as a tea drinker, do the same. Like I just told you that I feel like lower altitude teas, puerh teas are not so interesting. But look, if you feel like you want to try one from low altitude, I still think you should just go for it, and focus on the tea experience itself. I think that's really the most important. So that's it. I hope to offer our 2025 collection soon. I'm really eager to have them on offer. Very excited. We met some new farmers this year that we're very excited to work with. Some we're also going to work next year. Let's see. So some we couldn't. Some already had their tea sold out, and we were not in time to source their teas. But we got some cool samples, some really nice teas that we might source for next year. So that's it. Please check our collection. It should be available like in a month, as I said. I hope you're having amazing tea experiences. All the best.